Bats Global Markets was a public company for about 9 seconds on Friday. What happened? Where do they go from here? Well, you all know what happened by now, right? I mean, it's just a disaster. Where do they go from here is what we're going to try to talk about. We have Jenny Strasburg with us.
Hi. Good morning.
Big story, right?
Yeah,
you guys were, it had to be crazy this weekend for you.
It was busy. I mean, there's still unanswered questions as far as whether they will try to do another IPO.
Right.
So the founder of Bats over the weekend, Dave Cummings, who runs a firm called TradeBot, he said they should try to revive the IPO in the second quarter. Bats itself isn't saying whether. Joe Ratterman, the CEO, told me yesterday, that he'd rather not say right now. So we'll keep working on that. So
I mean, how big a disaster is this? I'm reading the story, and the quote I see from Ratterman, he says, we showed system problems, eroded customer confidence.
Well, Look, I mean, it's
how bad is the blow to their reputation from this?
They are an exchange and listings venue, so what their value is in doing this kind of thing effectively. So they know. Look, I mean, their own shares. It was their first corporate listing.
Right.
They said they tested the system hundreds of times in recent months, and they said it wasn't, the opening wasn't great. The first print was 75 cents below the $16 price of the IPO. But they said it wasn't a factor of a balance, the balance between buy and sell orders. That wasn't it. But after the auction, where they line up the opening orders happened, just things didn't go right in the continuous trading. And as we know, it got very bad very quickly. And then there was just a revolt. I mean, investors were just like, you just do not want to own this thing. And they went to the underwriters and said, we don't want to own this thing. And there were a lot of legal ramifications. The underwriters, in most cases, were also investors who were going to get a big dividend out of the IPO, $100 million dividend in total. So, it's just, it was definitely about the worst thing that could have happened, imaginable to us at least.
So have they handled the situation well up until now? I mean, in the minutes after that happened, it was really confusing. No one really knew what was going on. Finally, later in the day, there was a kind of a lengthy statement about a TikTok on what happened. And then over the weekend, there was a lot of chatter. What could they do going forward to build the confidence again?
Well, I mean, I think, Joe, the CEO, and his team, and Joe has been very public in the last 24 hours saying, I take responsibility for this ultimately. But he and Bats spokesman both say that the board did not discuss whether or not he was going to keep, as of now he still has his job, but he needed to say, I think the market, the customers, potential investors needed to hear, we screwed this up majorly, not pointing fingers. I mean, there was some discussion. I mean, Bats did also highlight some erroneous quotes that stayed on NASDAQ's system at 11:14. There were some when trading opened in Bats shares on NASDAQ. There were some quotes just at pennies, and there was kind of a scrum of that over the weekend. But directly and publicly, Mr. Ratterman says it was all on us. So.
So, look, the exchange opened this morning. It's doing business. It's not like this closed them down, right?
Right. Well,
the question is,
as of when I was at my desk. Yes. I mean, I don't think that's Bats has operated very effectively. I mean, they have a very strong performance record of being up and running. So this is a rare event for them. I mean, as they said yesterday, just at the worst time in the most public way, but it's not like they have a history of breaking down.
Yeah.
This is really pretty academic, but it was in a range of stock symbols from A to BF.
Which
had those two
Apple
companies,
there,
had Apple and Bats not fallen in that category, might this have been something that kind of slid under the radar?
It's a really good question. We don't know. I mean, had it been a glitch that affected, some R stock, I mean,
maybe.
Maybe.
There are a lot of what ifs.
I mean, the thing of it now is,
we know the SEC is also very interested in this what ifs. So.
If Bats was not a household name Friday morning, they are today, but it's not for the right reason. So they're the work cut out for them.
Yeah.
Jenny Strasburg, thank you very much.
Guys.